Hey there, this is Anthony Metivier from magneticmemorymethod.com. In this video, I want to talk to you about the 3 things that people do wrong when they want to learn English grammar. And there's a special reason why I'm talking about English grammar in particular, so be sure to stay tuned for the end of this video for that. And you know what? If you like this content about improving your memory, please subscribe to this channel. I've been absolutely delighted by the amount of people who have been joining the Magnetic Memory Method channel here on YouTube. It's just been a great delight. Now, the first tip that I want to give you about learning English grammar and any grammar really that you might be studying is that you don't want to overwhelm yourself with a trillion books. So when people are studying languages, they tend to buy all kinds of books. And I've done this myself when learning a new language. It's almost as if you have this fantasy wish that, this book, if I just get this next one, this is the one that will finally help me crack grammar. And the reality is that it likely won't, especially not if you haven't gone through an entire book in the first place in a very diligent way. And of course, I teach memory strategies and memory techniques, so it is amazing what happens to you if you just go through one book diligently and you actually remember the information in the one book. You'll often find that it's the only book that you need. So one of the hugest barriers and the biggest ways to waste your time when you're learning a language is to add another book. So if you're going to learn grammar, if you're going to study a language, just get one book and go through it from cover to cover and commit to memory everything that is pertinent and relevant to your stage of the learning game. Otherwise, you're going to overwhelm yourself with all kinds of books. I've been there before. It sucks. When I started Chinese, I got one book and I committed to going through all the way. And then I got one audio program, which I committed to going through all the way. And every day I'm tempted, somebody just told me, you got to try this program for Chinese. And I just thought, yeah, that sounds super exciting, but I'm not done memorizing all the stuff that I need from the first program. And so I'm sticking with the discipline of just the one all the way through and using the magnetic memory method to get all the good stuff. And I'm actually finished with the first audio program for Chinese, but I'm going through it again because using the magnetic memory method, I didn't get every single little thing into long-term memory. I focused on the stuff that really matters, and then I went on to the next thing, and then go back and then pick up the stuff that didn't really seem important at the time, but now is important because I need it. Anyway, just don't overwhelm yourself. Master one thing and use the memory techniques. Second tip that I got for you is don't read books on the computer. So if you're going to really be a serious student, get a book that you can put in your hands and you can take to a cafe or somewhere you can study that's quiet where you're not going to be interrupted. Commit to actually learning. Now, some people do have the discipline of learning on computer. So if you're just listening to me and you're like, oh, well, I can do this, then by all means, take your one book and read it on the computer. But disable notifications, disable distractions. You know, a lot of people say to me, Anthony, you're so disciplined. And the reality is that I am. But my discipline is not so much in not paying attention to distractions. My discipline is removing myself from distractions so that they're not an issue in the first place. So my grammar book for Chinese is a physical book, and my audio program for Chinese goes on the iPod, but it is a device that does not receive notifications. It doesn't get texts. It doesn't ring. It doesn't do anything. And I take a notebook and I go to a cafe and I use the magnetic memory method and I get stuff into my mind. And this would be for anything. It's just super, super powerful. And I know that younger generations are much better at managing technology, or at least that's what some research has suggested that I've seen. I'm from an older generation and we're not handling the internet that well, I don't think. So just don't try to handle it. Remove yourself from distractions. It's really, really, really important. Now, a little bit counterintuitive to this is that you can also use something like distractions in order to keep your brain active and to keep yourself focusing. And so I like to have a notebook open. I like to draw. And I like to draw memory palaces. And I also like to mind map while I'm putting things into long-term memory using the magnetic memory method. And so looking at English grammar rules, which I've recently gone through and memorized a bunch of stuff from that, is just really, really amazing. But, it's not at all a problem to have a open notebook and doodle a little bit, because it's kind of like saying, okay, I've done enough of actually reading the stuff. Now I need to translate it. I need to play with it. I need to encode it into long-term memory. I need to have something to do. So I doodle, and I have this notebook, and you've probably seen videos where I'm showing these things, drawing some memory palaces, and there's some new material coming out about drawing to help learn languages, doodling, mind mapping with languages, and so on. It's really, really a lot of fun. And you want to improve your memory, you want to increase your creativity, then this is a great tip, is learn to associate the language that you're learning by drawing and keeping your brain active, and not letting yourself get bored with what you're doing by having a related activity, a related way of learning. So that's really important. And then, of course, the major tip that I have for you is to use a memory palace. So this is a memory palace created by a student of the magnetic memory method, and they're doing it down to the T. Like, the actual journey is really, really carefully thought out. It's drawn, and then it's translated into a top-down list. This is super, super important, and it's very, very helpful. And there's some color coding going on as well, which is an option, not necessary to get colors in there, but it really helps. And each person who gets into the magnetic memory method and devotes themselves to what the teaching actually suggests and takes action will walk away with a memory asset that is absolutely stunning in what it can do for you. And it's really low tech. It's just you and your mind and a location and a pen and a pencil. And if you want to take it to the computer, like an Excel file or a grid or a graph, but you can also do the top-down list of your stations in a computer-based program, so long as you can manage the distractions. So this is really powerful, and I hope that you take it up. Now, the special announcement that I wanted to make about English grammar is that there's a full training program that has been released, and I've done it with someone who I have worked with on the past with helping people learn English grammar, and that's Joshua Smith. And what we've released is how to memorize English grammar rules, and it's available exclusively right now on a platform called Udemy. And you'll notice that it has 0 reviews, 0 students enrolled at the time that I'm making this video, and that is because we have just released it. In fact, it just released about 15 minutes before that I'm making this video for you. Now, I'm not going to go into a big pitch or anything like that, but I'd really be delighted if you took it. And there's a special code down below in the description that will give you this course for an extraordinary discount because it's new. And we would be delighted if you take it, leave a review, and just be part of the magnetic memory method and growing. And although there are no reviews, this course is based on a book that Joshua and I did together quite a few years ago, and it's helped a lot of people. And so there are some reviews that you can check out of that book on Amazon, and I'm not going to read them, but if you just take a glance through them, you'll find that this person was helped by the method for split infinitives, and there was a certain annoyance that Norma here faced, and she was able to overcome that. And she's talking about the benefits of having a great teacher. So that was cool to read. And Richard, he was talking about a friend that was helped by the book, and saying that she got 90% better. And I've never read a review from someone who is reviewing about the results that it got for another person, but interesting. It's definitely something to check out. And then this book is really great as well. And what I really like about it is that Tor here points out that the magnetic memory method is something that makes the process of getting information into memory fun, like a mental game. So that's really important. And above all, the benefit of taking this course is that the magnetic memory method, when you really get into it, when you really study it, when you really use it, it is a time management tool on top of a memory tool. So, if you do what I'm suggesting, get rid of alerts and actually spend the time, you're going to have a system or a method. Well, I always say the magnetic memory method is a method, not a system, but it's really a method that allows you to create your own system of memory palaces for whatever purpose that you want. And in this case, it's about learning English grammar. So it builds into itself reminders that show you when that you need to rehearse the information using the mental game that Tor mentions. It also teaches you the planning that you need. It teaches the prioritizing you get self-monitoring, you get efficiency, and so it just saves you tons and tons of time. And it is this mental game, and it's a lot of fun. The only struggle and the only problem that people ever have with the magnetic memory method is just not diving in and using it. And so this course comes with worksheets, it comes with some bonuses, it comes with many more memory palaces from students that you can look at to be inspired by, to get some insights from, and you're really, really going to enjoy it. Now, this particular link that's down in the description below has this special price, but that price isn't going to last forever, so you definitely want to go and check it out and see if it's still there. And by the time you get there may be more students enrolled, more than 0, and there may be some ratings. But right now, I'm really excited about this course, and Joshua is such a great teacher. He uses the magnetic memory method himself, and this is not just for students of English grammar. It's for anybody who wants to also learn how to teach English grammar at a level that incorporates the tools of the magnetic memory method, which, again, not just give you a memory method, but give you a way of actually, in a disciplined manner, teaching yourself a subject so that it stays in long-term memory. And that's a huge benefit for anybody. And I just am absolutely delighted to be able to continue teaching this technique to people around the world. So, new announcement. I hope that these tips helped you out. Just to review, please don't overwhelm yourself with too many tools. So if right now you're already overwhelmed with all kinds of tools, do not, under any circumstances, get the new course and just stick with whatever you're doing. But if you want a memory tool and you're at a position where you can actually go through the course from beginning to end, I would be delighted. Also, take your book away from the computer. This is kind of ironic, but a video course needs to be taken on the computer, but you can download the videos and take them to a cafe where you're not online, or a library, or any place where you're not going to be distracted, and you can have your notebook beside you. We talk about using notebooks, and you can get this stuff into long-term memory. And so if you are someone who teaches English grammar, or you're someone who just wants to improve your mother tongue, or you're someone who is working on improving your English grammar as a second native speaker, if you can imagine yourself just creating a couple of simple memory palaces like this, which takes about 2 to 5 minutes, once you know the techniques and you know why that you're doing things in a certain way, then you're going to get amazing results. So I totally 100% recommend this course to you, just because of the results that it's gotten so many people, and I really, really hope to see you inside the course. And by the way, there's a special Facebook group that is only for people who take this course. So you can trade notes with other people. You can post your memory palaces for us to look at, and we're going to be involved with people. And of course, we are absolutely delighted to really, really help people. That's what this is all about. And the memory techniques aren't for everybody. Not everybody is going to dive in. Not everybody's going to see it as a mind game as Tor does. But we want to find as many people who can imagine playing games in their minds with a minimum amount of involvement from technology to get information into long-term memory, so that they feel better, they have greater confidence, and they have command over the subjects that they're learning with a minimum amount of time invested. Because that's what it all comes down to, is if you can have a learning technique that enables you to manage your time by using the technique, well, then everything is golden. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching it. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it for you. I hope those tips help you out, and I really look forward to seeing you if you're interested in this new course. And this is a very, very special offer, so please check it out before this link expires, and we'll see you inside. Thanks again, and until next time, keep magnetic.